Good morning. It is Wednesday and it's a beautiful warm May day, and welcome to Saba's Way of Life. This is a garden update, quite a long one, so let's get on with it. So let me turn this around. I just want to show you, those of you that have been following will remember that I sowed a load of okra seeds. Now those okra ones that germinated, I put them out in the greenhouse and they didn't do well. The cold just killed them off. So I germinated some more. And because it's much warmer now and I've learnt my lesson, these 4 have germinated within the past week. It's crazy. There's 5 here. And I put them now into the house on the table, and I'm going to leave them here until they get a bit stronger. They're a bit dry. I need to put some water in them until they get a bit stronger, show me some more leaves, and then I'll plant them out in the greenhouse. These are bottle gourd, and bottle gourd is a great vegetable for those that you don't know it. In the Indian culture, it's called loki, as I've written here, and my parents love this. We make a delicious raita, which is a yogurt sauce with it, or we just eat it raw, and you can even cook it if you want to, but it's a very cooling, wonderful, white, kind of long cucumber style vegetable, and it's great for diabetics, but there are so many things that are good for diabetics. You've got to understand what the properties are. It's a very cooling property to it, so I don't know what else it does actually for diabetics. I do know that gourd in general, especially bitter gourd, must be the bitterness in it that helps to probably reduce the blood sugar in some way, or stop the insulin spike or something like that. But it's just eating quality foods. Really, I'm all about knowing who you are. Once you know who you are and you understand the concept of your body being a very important temple and looking after all areas of it, you wouldn't put shit in your mouth. So ultimately, if we go and look at the bigger picture, you really need to understand who you are and why your body is important to look after, so that you can think clearly. You cannot access that invisible side to you, which is the side that connects to source, unless your body is in a good state. You can't do it. Your body, first get your body fit. Go out, go to spin classes, walk, do exercises, do weight training, get your body in a fit state. Understand the importance of nourishing your body so that it's fit and you can think clearly. So important. It's more important than sitting there meditating when you're ill and diseased and your cells are all diseased. And, you know, oh, let me just not digress. You know what I mean. So let me move back to this. So that's this. I've also got more on the windowsill on the other side of the room. And I'm also soaking some seeds here. You can see here there's some more okra seeds here that have already started rooting. And I might actually sow them just to see what happens. These are Romanian coriander seeds that I am going to pop in the ground on the next leaf day. That's a little while to come. I might do it even before that. Now, the other thing is, you can see I'm organised here. I've got my notebook. I know what I'm sowing. Yesterday, I put some French climbing beans, heirloom ones, into the ground. It's a fruit day, remember, and these are fruit. And I also put some courgettes. Again, proper heirloom courgettes. I've got good experience with courgettes, so now I've put heirloom ones. One is a beautiful yellow climbing round lemon climber, and the other one is a kind of dwarf green bush perennial. Sorry, not perennial, they're all annuals courgette, but they're organic heirloom heritage seeds, not genetically modified. Today, I'm going to sow some more courgettes, and I'm also going to put this beautiful organic slicing cucumber in from real seeds. And I always read the notes, especially from wonderful companies like this, that a fellow YouTuber sent a message to me saying to me that this company is based in Wales, where he lives. So there you go. I might visit them, visit the Real Seeds company. And it says over here very clearly, it's wonderful. Look. An excellent dark green cucumber sent to us by Robert Bruns. Very many female flowers set early on. Very rare. This is now practically extinct, so please save your own seed. And believe me, I'm going to treat it with a lot of loving care, and I will be saving my own seed. I'm going to talk about seeds another time, but you can, if you want to find out more about seeds, look up the work of Dr Shiva. She's done some extraordinary work on seed saving, and she understands what's going on in the world, and I would look her up. That is not me advocating her, because I don't know her in and out. I don't think she's part of the swarm of the establishment. Maybe she wasn't to start off with, maybe she is now, but I don't think she is. But look her up. Nonetheless, her information is very, very good. Do your own research. I do, so do your own too. Take the responsibility. Now let's go out into the garden. Oh my God, there's so much happening. I'm so excited to be sharing all of this with you. So let me turn this around. Look at the garden. It's a beautiful warm day here. So bearing in mind it's a fruit day, you can even see the bare patches. There's just 2 or 3 left here now and a few at the back, but this was all bare patch 3 weeks ago, and look, it's all grown. Can you hear the birds? You only need a small space, but if you turn it into a little garden heaven, you'll attract the birds and the wildlife. At the back of the garden I've got, I mean, this is a closely packed neighbourhood. It's kind of suburbia, it's not central London, and lots of green around it, but I've got 6 trees at the rear of the garden which were planted many years ago. You can see they're conifers, they're really tall now, but look at the difference it makes now. I've got my own little woodland here, to be honest, and I wouldn't really have this kind of ecosystem if I didn't have the trees. They're so important. So plant your own. If you've just moved in somewhere, plant your own. Plant some trees. Sow some tree seeds, or get baby trees. Right, let me just show you this area, how beautiful it looks here. Look, it's grown, everything's grown. Let's go to the vegetables. That's far more important. So I've taken this table out. This is a picnic table, which is collapsible. Very, very useful for not just for eating with family, but for jobs like this. And I've taken all of the young seedlings, which aren't so young anymore, out because it's warm and they need the sun and they need to acclimatise before they go into the bare ground over the next 2 weeks. So you can see I've got heaps of sunflowers here, and on the next flower day coming up in a few days, these are asking to be put out. They are praying to be put out. Look, they're climbing and climbing. They're going to be put out towards the rear of the garden here, which is facing south. They need the sun. So I have to think about where to put them, and put them in areas. I'm going to be planting them keeping in mind that they need to be transplanted in areas that the wildlife can come, and that also it'll deter wildlife from attacking my vegetables. They'll kind of make a beeline, literally, for the sunflowers instead. I'm thinking about them as well. Everything works in an interconnected fashion. Nothing works on its own. That's a reductionist approach, and this applies to everything in life. Everything is interconnected. Everything. And together it makes up the whole. You cannot just think about yourself and think that you on your own are navigating life. Listen to my cancer talks, the reading that I did from that fantastic book, The Healing Power of Illness. The most joy comes when you're working in an interconnected fashion as part of the whole. Okay, so sunflowers, and then these are all the brassicas. I've got the cabbages here, I've got the broccoli, I've got the lovely curly kale going on here, cauliflower, and these are the cabbages. I've also bought this bougainvillea. I saw it at the garden centre. It was really good value. They had a 20-30% discount, and I have no idea whether it's going to survive, but I'm going to put it in a big pot so that in the winter I can take the pot back in, and I will put it in the shade somewhere, and I'll let this grow maybe along the chicken coop there. Around it, it will just look beautiful. It's colours. You can also see the hanging baskets there. Let me show you from here. Don't they look beautiful? Now at the moment you can't see many flowers because they haven't bloomed yet, but eventually I'm hoping they'll be covered. My mother and I made these together last week. I'll keep you posted on that. You can see how that will go. Finally, well, not finally, let me just show you the raised bed here. Everything is coming up because this year I put a lot of onions in here. You can't really see a lot of greenery because onions are all down below and they take time to grow their stems up. They're coming up. If you look here, there's lots and lots of them. Look carefully. But you've got everything planted here. These are leeks. You can hardly see them, but they're going to be huge in the weeks to come. I've got carrots, I've got onions, I've got leeks, I've got chard. I've got some beautiful flowers here, calendula, which are companion planting for them, peas. So it's wonderful. The carrots are doing really well. It's almost tropical today, and their leaves have changed structure and shape, which tells me now that it's beginning to form a carrot underneath. If I was to pull one out, I could eat it. Lots of onions because we eat onions as a family. My parents eat lots. I eat onions and garlic every single day. I thrive on it. Doesn't mean you will. I do. Spinach. It's so lovely. Look. Little Buddha at the end. Doesn't she look lovely with all those... Is it a he? I don't even know. But he looks lovely there with all of those stinging nettles and wild plants around him. So nice. It just looks lovely. Now into the greenhouse. In the greenhouse here, can you see this mixture of straw and muck? Well, it is muck because it's rotted, well rotted chicken manure that I pulled out of the garlic today. I'll show you the garlic in a minute. And I'm going to be planting out all these tomato plants. God, these were seed. Look at them now. They were sown in March, and look at them now. And they're ready to go in the ground and grow and become beautiful plants laden with lots of baby tomatoes. Most of them are Gardener's Delight. Do your research on tomatoes. Most of them are Gardener's Delight, which are baby tomatoes, but you get a huge abundant amount and they grow very high. You have to pinch out the side shoots. I can't remember whether that's called determinate or indeterminate. Do your research. It's really not that important, but I understand just from experience what I need to do from not doing that. And then they didn't, when I didn't pull out the side shoots, they didn't fruit and they just got very bushy. When I pulled out the side shoots, they grew up and all the energy went into the trusses where all the tomatoes just fall. There are also a few other tomatoes there that do well outside, which are the bigger beefsteak tomatoes. There's one green slicing tomato, so I'm going to check and just remind myself where they like to be situated. But the other tomatoes are all going to be in the greenhouse, going straight into the ground with a whole load of manure and organic matter, because tomatoes are selfish. They think only of themselves, which is why you never have tomatoes when you're suffering from a disease. They say when you've got cancer, but I would say any disease, dis-ease and unease of the body is already cancerous, isn't it? So you would avoid fruits and vegetables which have a nature of thinking only of themselves. You need to think about what I've just said there. And understand when the body is out of balance. Why is it out of balance? It's not just about a particular organ in your body. We're all interconnected. Again, it's the same thing. So understand how our system works, how the universe works, and realise that everything is connected in some way. If you do your research and you twig on this, your whole life will change and you will change as a person. Doesn't it look lovely behind me there? Look at that. It's beautiful. Right, I want to show you the Dalek. This is that part of the garden where all the work goes on. So here, this is what it is. It's a Dalek. Now, a Dalek, it's called that because Doctor Who, for those of you who remember Doctor Who, I don't know if they showed it in, produced it in America as well, but there were these Daleks. This is going back to the 70s and 80s. There were these Daleks that used to come and destroy. I always think of them as, you know, those monsters that we are running our world today. Anyway, the Dalek, the organic, the chicken manure, I put it in here. You can see it's gone down because I've used it a lot. In here, which is mixed with straw because there's straw in the coop. And over the season, it rots down, and then I open this bit section up here and I scoop it out with, you know, either with a trowel or with a spade or something like that, into buckets, and I put that straight into the greenhouse here. All right, and I'm going to dig this in. I've watered it well yesterday. It's all prepared in advance, and I'm going to dig it in, and then I'm going to pop the tomatoes straight in. Right, now the other thing finally that I wanted to talk to you about is just the importance of, you know, when we talk about our health and we talk about exercise. I'm just going to be talking about the garden for now, but there's so much to do. If you've got a space like I've got, which is quite modest, it's only a 70-foot garden. I know some of you haven't, but for those of you who have and don't do anything and think you don't get to the gym, you don't need to. Look, I was up on a ladder earlier today, you see, and there's a gutter that runs all the way across, and the gutter then goes straight down to the water butt. Can you see that water butt there? So it gets clogged up with leaves. I was on this step ladder here, up on there, pulling out all the dead leaves and moss from the gutter. Isn't that exercise? It's stretching my arms, my legs. I'm moving different muscles. I'm holding my core muscles in. I had to go into the coop itself with a stick to reach the top of the gutter. Later I've got to clean out the actual chicken coop itself. This morning I was digging up all of the wood chip and the mud inside the chicken run there and just leveling it off, and that itself was an exercise. When you're using a spade and a shovel and you're using it properly, I've been taught by a friend of mine how to shovel stuff up in and out. You know, there's a technique to it. Once you learn that, the system, then you can do it yourself. But there's so much in the garden you can do. I'm going out now in the front after I've sown some seeds to pull out the weeds. So I'm going to pull out the weeds. I'm going to put salt down so that the salt goes deep into the roots and stops them coming back up. It's just non-stop. And all the while you're doing that, you're listening to the birds and you're taking advantage of Mother Nature's sun that she's, or he, the sun is meant to be male, apparently the moon is female, that he's given you. So absorb the sun into your skin. This is vitamin D synthesis, you know, and make sure you're not wearing sunglasses, because most of the sun's rays and the benefit of the sun is absorbed through the eyes. If I remember correctly, vitamin D is actually made by your own body, and those people that are constantly taking vitamin D3 supplements, which of course you need in an emergency, but their bodies stop producing it or don't get used to producing it themselves, and so even the sun may not benefit them as much. I mean, everyone gets benefit from the sun, but it's one vitamin that is made by the body itself. So just make sure you get out in the sun so that your body does its own work. And it's not just about vitamin D. Vitamin D, vitamin D3, all the other, they all work together synergistically. They work powerfully together when they work synergistically, interdependently, interconnectedly. That's what this video is about, interconnectedness. Remember that. Anyway, that's my talk for today. It's beautiful. Just one last look at which is going to be filled with flowers very soon. Wildflowers will be here, but you can see the change already, and you can hear the change. Have a lovely day.